Welcome back to What If Naruto Had His Parents' Knowledge and Experience Part 12. Disclaimer: I don't own Naruto nor this fanfic. Warning: get ready for heavy sexual contents. That would be all for today. You can go through all the documents and we will meet tomorrow to discuss this in further detail. You can all go now. I would like to talk with Gaara alone. Left alone were two teenagers as the silence of the room took over them. Naruto sighed as he moved over to the window looking over the city. It was all back to normal now. There were only small signs of the attack left, the streets were lively, the people busy. Everything was almost exactly like it used to be before. Did you find out more about your seal and your mother? Naruto asked as he looked at the younger boy on the other side of the room. A broken bar garage just stared back at him with his passive eyes, which held a bit of bloodlust. Not so talk-active are we? Naruto mused as he moved over to the smaller boy. Gaara's sand already started to form a protective barrier around him as the young Hokage came near. Don't be like that. We both know that this doesn't help you, Naruto said as his own golden tentacles made a path for him to reach Gaara. Coming to a stop in front of the Jinchuriki, he used a small amount of chakra to deactivate Gaara's seal. The sand around him stopped moving as it fell to the ground. Gaara had a shocked expression as he tried to run away, but Naruto caught him in no time. It was kind of sad to see such a strong-willed person like Gaara so helpless like this. I just want to talk to you. So stop panicking and calm down, Naruto said as he grabbed the boy and put him onto the seat in front of him. Both sat there for a while, once again silence taking over them. It's unfair, isn't it? Naruto asked out of the blue, startling Gaara a little bit. No matter what we do, no matter how we behave, it doesn't matter how hard we try to understand, everybody still hates us. Shock was the reaction that was most visible on Gaara's face. When we were young, we didn't even understand why we were threatened differently. What made the others so angry at us and why nobody told us a reason for it? Why do I have to suffer here alone when others are happy with their perfect families? Naruto continued as Gaara listened to him. Why me? These were my thoughts as I grow up. That was my fuel as I planned my revenge against them each night. Now, look at me, sitting here as the head of one of the 5 hidden villages. What I'm trying to say is that many things can change for you, that I have the ability to make your life easier. As to why I'm doing this, let's say that I want to help someone that has gone through the same cruel experience as me, Naruto said as he directly looked into Gaara's eyes. The question is, are you willing to accept my help? They stilled. It was said what had to be said. Now it was Gaara's turn to speak up, or this would be a forced decision. The silence took forever as Naruto waited for the young boy to speak up, but it didn't happen. He sighed as a headache made itself known. This would take some time. He was about to get up and activate Gaara's seal again when the boy spoke. Are we the same? He asked meekly as he looked back at him. We are not the same person, but we have something that connects us with each other. Something more than other people can understand. That is to feel the pain the other went through. That is something only another Jinchuriki can relate to. This loneliness and hatred, how many times we were betrayed by the people we thought cared about us just a little bit. So yeah, in some way we are the same, Naruto said as he unsealed the seal on Gaara's forehead. Your delegation will stay here for 2 weeks to navigate the negotiations between our 2 villages. You can come to me if you have an answer to my offer, Naruto said as he guided Gaara to the door. Opening it, there was his staff, Shikamaru and Shino on the left side, while the Jonin of Sunagakure waited on the right side for their Jinchuriki. It was clear that they didn't trust him to stay alone with their village's most powerful weapon. Well, it was understandable, they just lost their cage and lost a lot of elite ninjas in their attack against them. Their village's security was at its lowest with no foreseeable future where it's getting better. Though there probably won't be an attack on Suna in the near future, since there wasn't much to gain from the desert village. It wasn't like Konoha where natural resources and farmable land were a big motivator for an invasion. That was proven right over and over again. Suna just showed it once more. Shikamaru, Shino, Naruto called the 2 over as the Sunins made their way out. How did it go? Shikamaru asked once the door was closed. It was fine, I guess. He seems to have a lot of thoughts and no idea who to trust. He is scared and confused. I think that he desperately searches for answers. for someone that he can trust, Naruto said as he sat down in his chair. Did you decide what to do with him should he decide to accept your help? Shikamaru asked. I will take him as a disciple, Naruto answered as he took the cup of coffee Shino offered him. Is it wise? You are a very busy person with a limited amount of free time to teach someone. Don't you think that the council will throw a fuss that you use it to teach someone from another village? Their Jinshu Uriki no less, Shino asked as he gave Shikamaru a cup too. They can fuss all they want, it's not like I'm wasting their free time, Naruto said as went through a few documents. Shikamaru, I want you to go through the entire contract that we will be signing with Suna and see if you find anything that is unclear or poorly formulated, Naruto instructed. Shikamaru nodded with a sigh. Shino, I want you to bring me the Anbu commander. Shino nodded before he vanished, leaving only Naruto and Shikamaru behind. I fear that we are running into a maze of unsolvable situations that we can't handle. We were lucky that I should defend the village this time, but what about the future? What will happen when someone attacks us when I'm not around? Naruto asked into the room, not even looking at Shikamaru directly. I don't know the answer to that either. But what we can do is to prepare. We need to prepare as much as we can to prevent as much harm from the village as possible, Shikamaru finally said. At least we are unsure together, Naruto said. Shikamaru just hummed out as they both got back to their respective paperwork. You called for me, Hokage-sama? The Anbu commander said as he entered the room. I would like to summon someone specific from the Anbu, but why can't I find his name on the member list? Naruto asked seriously, a little bit of anger in his tone as both Shikamaru and the Anbu commander flinched. I don't know what you are talking about, Hokage-sama, the commander answered before his entire body froze up, a shadow running over his body until it reached his neck with a firm grip. Even I can tell that you are trying to bullshit us here, Shikamaru said from behind. Hokage-sama, the commander started but stopped as Naruto released an extreme amount of chakra that shook the whole building. Do I look like a joke to you, a puppet that you can control with the right information? Naruto asked as got closer to the Anbu commander. No, Hokage-sama, the man answered firmly. Good, because that wouldn't be wise. I want a complete member list and all information you have gathered concerning the invasion handed over. The man nodded as Shikamaru released him. Oh. And bring me the Makodan user. Seedlings like him don't grow if you don't nurture it well. The man nodded a last time before he vanished into thin air. Who has so much power to make him lie to you? Shikamaru asked in wonder. Probably the elders or Danzo or both. This really pisses me off though. When did I become someone that you try to scam? Naruto mused. After we have stabilized the internal situation of the village, just wait until we have done that. After that, there is no problem removing them all, Shikamaru said. His eyes had this distinct calculating and cold gaze. Please prepare everything for it. I want to root them out as fast as possible, Naruto said as Shikamaru nodded. The negotiations went well over the next week. Suna accepted the offer for farmland, even though they had to pay 40% of their harvest as tax. The meetings went over peacefully. Most of the work was done by Shikaku and Shikamaru for Konoha's part. Can I speak with you? Gaara asked at the end of the last meeting for the first week. Sure, wait outside for a minute until I finish talking with my people, Naruto said as he turned back to Shino and Shikamaru. I want you two to select a group of shinobis that will watch over the farmland until Suna has started building their farms, he said to Shikamaru, who nodded in understanding. It wouldn't be good for the relationships between Konoha and Suna if a third party made a move to attack there. I also want some experienced farmers to help them. I'm sure that their entire village doesn't have a single person with farming experience. Shino accepted the order with a slight bow. It was clear that this was also for their village. Send Gaara in on the way out, Naruto instructed as the two left the office to begin the tasks Naruto had given them. Hokage-sama, Gaara greeted, even though they had just talked 3 minutes ago. Gaara, Naruto acknowledged as he gestured Gaara to sit down. So, what brings you here? Naruto asked, his expression perfectly neutral. Help. You said you could help me, Gaara said like it was the explanation for everything. Well, I have plans to help you, to shape you into a young and mature adult that has his own mind and emotions. But it doesn't matter what I want for you, what matters is what you want. Okay, say what you want and I will see what I can do. I won't fulfill each of your requests, but I will try and give you a good reason should that happen, Naruto promised, because he knew what it felt like to be denied something he wanted without any kind of reason. It was like the adults were picking on him, like they had fun watching him seek something for himself before they took it away. Gaara stayed still in his seat, probably thinking over the things he wanted to ask for. I want to stay here. Our next meeting, Naruto asked as the redhead nodded in understanding. It will be nice to have you around, Gaara 2 days later. How is the situation around the farmland? Any suspicious third groups? Naruto asked as he filled out the paperwork Shikamaru gave him. No, until now everything is okay. We have found about 10 farmers that will be teaching Suna the basics and help them for the first 2 harvesting seasons, Shikamaru informed. Good. We will be able to have a lot more food for this winter, Naruto said as he looked at the man waiting at the door. He had a face protection that protected his forehead and cheeks, leaving his eyes, nose, and mouth free. So you are Yamato, our village's Makoton, wood user? Naruto asked. Yes, Hokage-sama, the man replied stiffly. Let's see, you are 24 years old. You have completed 80D rank, 176 C rank, 387 B rank, 271 E rank, and 21 S rank missions. Is that correct? Naruto asked as he read the file out loud. That is correct, sir, Yamato answered. Wow, Chunin, at the age of 6, that is really an impressive talent you have there, Shikamaru said from behind Naruto as he read the file over the Hokage's shoulder. The Shinobi at the door stayed silent as it wasn't the Hokage that talked with him. It is not enough, you could have been an S-rank ninja by now, yet you rot away in the Anbu. From today on forward, you will be under my direct command and leave Anbu, Naruto said sternly as he looked at the Makoton user. The man didn't show any kind of reaction to his command. Of course, Hokage-sama, he replied monotone. Good, you will be guarding me out of the shadows, for the time being. We will start training after Suna's delegation is back in their village, Naruto said, and the Shinobi nodded before vanishing. He could feel the chakra just outside the room, so he knew that the man was still near following his command. You will have a meeting with the council later and we will have to see what the Suna delegation will say about your decision to keep Gaara here, Shikamaru informed as Shino brought them both a cup of tea. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. In this world, the words of the strong still hold the most power. We are lucky that we are on the side of the powerful, because this could also have been someone else's power. So, let's decide on the most peaceful solutions for all parties, Naruto said as both Shino and Shikamaru nodded. How is the wall project going on? Naruto asked. We are hiring more and more construction companies. We have 7 companies hired so far, Shinsu informed. And the new tower? Naruto asked. It's in the planning phase, but it will take some time since it will only start after the wall is finished, Shikamaru said as Naruto nodded in understanding. Okay, thanks for the update. You two can rest now until our meeting later this evening, Naruto said, dismissing the two. Naruto used his remaining time until the meeting to fill out most of the paperwork with shadow clones, as one of the Anbus brought him food somewhere in between his work. The village has gotten a lot better over the last month. They had allowed civilians to go out of the city again. There was no need anymore to hide his identity. They weren't sure at the beginning if just after the attack a 13-year-old boy would provoke the other villages to attack. Trade was coming back to normal, and even though their food supply was stabilizing itself, they still had to ration meat. The village's storage would have to be filled again before the winter comes. They had still around 7 months left before the winter comes. They had sent out a lot of teams for missions to let the other nations know that they were able to do business as usual, that the civilians know that Konoha was still a strong village that accepted missions. They used a lot of reserves to pay the citizens an emergency fund to get their business running around. This was also to fight the possibility of rising prices. It would take at least 2 years for the village to recover completely. The prices of their food were already raising to a high amount where it became hard for the poorer part of the citizens to buy it. That should stop in 2 weeks when the groups of Shinobi they had sent out to buy supplies would come back. Farmers had already sized the new land they had in the new 3 kilometers radius to cultivate new crops. Their parameters had been to make the city self-sufficient, not something they will be able to do with the amount of land in their village, but it will be with the 40% tax they will get from Suna's harvest. They will not be paying for most of their food at all anymore. making it easy to fill their reserves and make the living costs go down in Konoha. They could raise the tax by 1% or 2% more permanently. Like that, the people still would have more money than before since food would be so cheap. They needed to economically raise, and that fast. Military power was one thing that they had right now. But for how long? How long would his presence prevent others from attacking? Now they needed to grow economically because better life standards mean that the birth rate would go up. They would have more workers, and more shinobi in the future. They had to play the long game, had to be patient, and wait for results. Good evening everybody, Naruto greeted as he came into the full conference room. Let's start with the first order for today, and that would be signing the contract regarding the farmland on our western borders with the land of River. The contract states exactly which regions can be used, which forests are to be left alone or can be deforested. The contract will last for 10 years and will be renewed after that time with new conditions. Should Konoha not decide to prolong the contract, then we will pay for the work you put into the land to turn it into farmland. Are there any last concerns with the contract? If not, please sign it now so that we can go over to the next point of order, Naruto said as Ki signed the contract without any hesitation. Shikamaru brought the contract to him and he signed it as well. Now that this was finished, he could breathe a little easier. This would be a huge help for his village as well. They didn't use the west border of their land anyway, so this was a gigantic gift for them without paying anything for it. We will be sending an exchange team of 4 Chunins and 1 Jonin. They will carry a scroll that will inform us should you be attacked. Naruto explained. We will prepare a comfortable stay for them, Baki said as the rest of the delegation nodded along with him. That would be great. I would also like Gaara to stay here out of security reasons. The room stilled as the air grew cold, the Sanins glancing at Gaara who held his passive murderous eyes. Security reasons? Baki asked diplomatically since he couldn't outright refuse. Naruto was strong enough to level their village and had done a lot to help them. Yes, the other day Gaara allowed me a look at his seal and I have to say that is very crude. From what I saw, it seems that Shukaku will break out of Gaara again sooner or later. Your last cage had a jutsu to stop him, but he isn't around anymore. You would agree with me that it would be safer for your people if Gaara stayed here, right? Naruto asked. Hokage-sama, Gaara isn't just our Genshu Uriki but also the son of the dead Kazekage. He is our protection guarantee and a big threat to other parties that plan to attack us, Baki explained. So you're saying that Gaara is a bigger security guarantee than I'm? Naruto asked with a sharp gaze as he looked at the Jonin. Of course not, Hokage-sama, but nothing, Naruto interrupted harshly. I'm not arrogant when I say that I'm your biggest security blanket for the next 2 years. There is no reason to distrust me with Gaara. You know why? Naruto asked. Because you would have already annihilated our village and taken the One Tail by force if that was your motivation. But, Baki started and yet again Naruto interrupted him. So you know that I can do it. I think that I'm asking for a rather cheap price for all the help I am expending to you. I will promise you that Gaara will not be granted citizenship in Konoha and will return to Suna after growing up a little more peacefully. I will personally teach him in my free time. He will become a formidable shinobi even without the One Tail. I of course don't do that out of the goodness of my heart. Suna and Konoha are 2 major villages that have a chance for future collaboration. Peace not only between our villages but our nations of wind and fire as well. For that, we need a personal connection between us, and I that think the Genshu Uriki of Suna has the potential to be the bridge of peace in the future, Naruto said. The room was silent after his speech. The old council didn't look too happy with him, probably because he was saying that he would be using his time to teach a ninja of another village. The Sanins looked as if they were in deep throes as they whispered under each other. Gaara's look didn't change, but his eyes looked a little bit less cold than it was before. He just hoped that they would agree, or he would have to use some of his rather undiplomatic ways to convince them. Can we leave Shinobi here with him? Baki asked. Yes. But they will not have the right to follow him everywhere in the village. They will be allowed to observe him in the open and go on missions with him to protect your Genshu Uriki, Naruto said as Baki nodded. If you don't mind, we would like to take him back first and talk with the council and then send him back here, Baki said. I do mind it. In fact, taking him with you will do nothing for you other than prolonging Gaara's right to have a friendly environment. You don't exactly have a choice. so no matter what, Gaara will come back here. And whatever seal or jutsu you will be placing on him, I will be able to break, so yes, I do mind it a lot. Gaara will be staying here effective immediately since you have no real reason to take him," Naruto said as he summoned a little bit of his golden substance. "Is this how you treat the neighboring villages you talk about becoming allies with? You leave them no choice?" One Suna asked rather angry. "No, this is how I keep my promise with someone that asked me for a favor to stay," Naruto said coldly, and it was at that moment that the room came to understand that it wasn't Naruto's idea, to begin with, that Gaara had asked for this on his own accord, had asked to be away from his village. "You don't have to regret your treatment of him now, my village did the same thing with me. The only difference between him and me was that I had the power to leave. I genuinely don't understand you old people, in Konoha and Suna. How come you all thought that treating your Jinshu Uriki with mistrust, hatred, and cruelness would lead them to want to stay? How are you going to expect loyalty with such treatment?" It is something that I couldn't find an answer to. My council couldn't give me an answer to it either, so maybe you can. Because as someone that lived in that cruelty once myself, I want to understand it. What was the thought process behind your decision to treat Gaara like this? Naruto asked in true wonder because he wanted to know why. "You don't have an answer either, have you? I will tell you what I think you thought. You all probably lost someone to a Baijiu and associated the Jinshu Uriki with your loss, with your fear of the Baijiu. You thought that isolating the Baijiu, that being cruel to the Jinshu Uriki was okay, that it was revenge. I will tell you what it was. It was the dumbest thing you could have ever done. We, the Jinshu Urikis, didn't have a choice to become one. You all made us and then you punished us for your decision. You should have been professional, you should have been a shinobi and thought rationally. Instead, you all have been cowards, you all let a small boy suffer for your own fears. I'm disgusted with your personalities, with you as human beings, and I'm waiting for the days you all die. I'm waiting for the day when our countries and villages aren't ruled by cowards anymore, and I will do my utmost to not be such a greedy bastard like you all, always and only looking for power. I will start the changes while you live, but trust me when I say that I will not even blink when you die. I'm not only saying this to Suna, every adult in this room is guilty. Some more, others less. What is important is that you should be ashamed for what you did, that you reflect on your judgments and thoughts," Naruto said before he stood up and left, taking Shikamaru, Shino, and Gaara with him. The room had stayed silent, all thinking over the words they heard. The civilian part of the council looked guilty. They had worked with the young Hokage for the last few months and had to say that they didn't treat him like he deserved. The shinobi side on the other hand had mixed reactions. The clan heads were split between guilty faces and thoughtfulness. Danzo and the two elders on the other